Hi, this is Matt, and we're going to go over the core data within the ORATS Excel-based API sheet. This is a quick start. You could download your own sheet at api@orats.com or by using ContactMe at ORATS and get a key. And once you get your key, you'll copy it in to the Settings tab. There are 12 tabs on the Excel-based API. We're going to be looking at the fourth one, the core data, that at symbol level option information. This updates throughout the day, and we have a general core that contains volatility data, correlation percentiles, among other things, and one more focused on earnings data. So let's take a look at the actual Excel. So here's the Excel. Here's the core data tab. Right now we have ticker information for all tickers. You could select just a list or all stocks on the general core. So let's go through that. And then I'll also show you where the definitions are in the sheet here at the earnings in general. So for example, the ticker right here is the underlying symbol, trade date, what type of an asset it is. ETB means easy to borrow, no dividend. If it's a 1, it's hard to borrow. HTB. HTB div paying, and the others are explanatory. So here are all the definitions, and you could refer back to that. I'm going to go through some of the numbers now. There's that asset type that we talked about. One nice thing to do as well is you could filter using Excel's filter by dropping this down, and then you could see, for example, only the hard to borrows. You could select, this is just an offering that Excel has, so 814 of 4,153 symbols that we cover have an asset type of 1, and then you could unselect that. And then I will just take off this filter to make it a little bit more clear for the column headers. We have information like the closing price, the at the money implied that we use to calculate the implied volatility calculations, market cap, call volume, call open interest, put volume, put open interest. Our company provides a forecast of volatility and a forecast of implied volatility, and then a long-term forecast, or the leaps. And then we also say what the X earnings ORATS implied volatility is. I should say that our forecast is an X earnings forecast, to which you would then add earnings effect, which I'll show you how to do. And then we have an implied 200-day implied moving average of implied volatility. Here's month 1 implied volatility, the month 1 kind of smooth term structure fit, month 1 at the money forecast. So this is for this particular stock. We show you what the month 1 forecast and how many days to expiration. We do it for month 2, month 3, and month 4. We have interest rates that are used, which is LIBOR. We estimate the price of 1,000 gamma. We should tell you what the vol of the volatility is and the vol of the implied volatility. We list the put call slope and the infinite slope. A lot of the definitions, again, to these are appear in the back, so I don't want to go into all of these, but I just want to go through a lot of what we're covering in this particular core data. Some information on our R squared, for example, of our forecast, what the stock volume is. I use this quite a bit, the average 20-day option volume, so you could see stocks that you could filter out, stocks that don't trade very much. This is good, which sector each stock is in, and we provide, over to the right, we provide the spider sector. And then the core of this is the ORATS 1-day historical volatility. That's slightly different than close to close. And then we also have close to close volatility, and then we have interpolated implied volatility at the 20, 30, 60, 90, 6-month ranges. We have some stock closing information, dividend information, and then we have some earnings moves, again, that you could look to. The best ETF of the spiders is here in a shorter sector that they're in. Correlation numbers, correlations of implied volatility, correlations of the relationship between implied and historical volatility, percentiles, and that's about it. So that's the general core drop down. Next we'll look at the earnings core for just a stock list, and then since we're looking at earnings, we'll want to look at stocks with earnings. We'll just look at Apple and Google and Yahoo and Microsoft. So we'll do a stock list, we'll do earnings core, and we'll get data, and it's a lot quicker because it's just for those particular symbols. So some of the same column headers, open interest, month 1 implied volatility, but then we get into past earnings dates, and we'll also get into how much of an earnings move by percentage the stock had on those earnings dates. Down 4%, down 1.59%, up 5.5%, etc. We have earnings effects that are the expected effect, the actual divided by the expected, and then here are some ORATS historical volatilities, and then taking out the earnings is an important thing that some traders look at. What is the historical volatility? Taking out the days of earnings is an important indicator. And we do that for close to close as well. And then we show some implied numbers, and then we show some implied earnings effect numbers in what the implied earnings move in percent terms, and then what the average absolute earnings move has been. So one way you might use this is to compare the absolute earn move average to the what's implied in the market with the through the term structure. When the earnings months are higher than the other months, there's an implied earnings effect in there. And then there's some other information again that you could look up in the earnings in general definitions here. The general is on the right here, and here are the earnings definitions. So that's it. That was a quick start for the core data tab. Our important symbol level information. Hope that you enjoy the hopefully you enjoy the ORATS API sheet, and again, contact me at orats.com with any questions. Thank you.